Hi, I'm Gold Derby News and Features Editor Ray Richmond, and I'm here with excuse me, let me start that over. It's Jirrels, right?
Jirrels, you got it. Yeah,
All right,
either.
I'll start over. Hi, I'm Gold Derby News and Features Editor Ray Richmond, and I'm here with Alyssa Jirrels, who co-stars as daughter Ellen in the new limited series reboot of the blockbuster 1987 psychosexual thriller Fatal Attraction that's currently streaming on Paramount Plus. The series reimagines the film through the lens of modern attitudes towards strong women, personality disorders, and coercive control. There's a mouthful.
Oh yeah.
Um, when I saw the original film in '87, Alyssa, it scared the living hell out of every married man I knew,
Like,
me included, but we all
mhm.
behaved ourselves as a result.
Oh,
Um,
good.
but anyway, Alyssa, you're basically playing a character in this Fatal Attraction who didn't exist in the original film
Hmm.
in the current form, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because so basically you're because the daughter in the original film was a little girl, and now you're grown up because your father just got out of prison.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So our version, we have a timeline where the original film takes place, which is in our version, it's in 2008, and my character is a little girl, which is how we know her in the movie. And then there is a timeline 15 years later because our show is about consequences and it's about trauma and it's about, the life arc of somebody. And so yeah, my character is 23 and she's sort of endured the effects of that affair. And we get to see how she's processed it, throughout her life. We get to see how we get to see childhood trauma from childhood to adulthood in that character.
Because it's 15 years that dad has been in prison, right?
Yeah, 15 years. Yeah.
And I guess the good news is you weren't tied to recreating a character who'd already been played by a different actress.
Yeah, no, thank God. I had little, I think, God, I wish the actress who played Ellen in the original movie, her name was also Ellen. I wish I knew her
I forgot.
name.
I she wasn't a consequential character in the
No,
film.
she wasn't. She was kind of like to the side. Like she was going through a lot of shit, but she like was like kind of like to the side. Like nobody really cared about the kid. But yeah, no, she was like 6 in the movie. So I had nothing to be intimidated by. I just had to be intimidated by the excellent material and I do my
there's got to
best.
be there's got to be something to intimidate.
And there always is. There's always something.
No, I think Ellen in the original film, she existed primarily to have a bunny that got boiled.
Yes. Yeah. That was her
That
whole
that that was her place in the film.
that was her place in the film.
No, but you never saw the movie, right? From what I gather, which was a
No,
creative choice.
yeah, I didn't see it before shooting, because it just, I mean, it was a lot of it, because it was so about childhood trauma. I felt like seeing somebody's childhood depicted on screen that I was trying to play. Like, I didn't know what was going to be different or what was going to be the same. So I didn't see it before we started shooting. I'd seen little clips of it, but I since watched it and it's just, yeah, I mean, it's a masterpiece. It's incredible.
Yeah, at the time it was kind of derided as sort of being, sort of, I don't know, derivative and and manipulative.
Hmm.
But I think time has been kind to it, and it really does. Hollywood also doesn't like movies that make too much money, so I think
So
critics
true.
critics automatically go against that stuff when
Yeah.
and bash it. But yeah, the film holds up very well.
Yeah, that's
Um,
interesting that it wasn't. I do remember somebody saying that it wasn't received very well at the time. But yeah, I do feel like some of the best like cult classics, that's the case.
that
They're one of
happens a
the
lot.
best. Yeah, yeah.
So, what was it like for you, Alyssa, to take on the role and explore the character of Ellen? Kind of fun, challenging, different.
I mean, yeah, it was very intense. It was a lot. It was really gratifying. I am a completely different actor afterwards. Like I'm a different person, I'm a different actor. It was really it was my first attempt sort of trying to carry out an arc of a character that was uh this meaty, you know, and I had immense amounts of anxiety and immense amounts of questions and not really knowing, you know, how to do it. Especially, I think it was also all these veterans. It was me and a bunch of people who have been doing it for so many years. So it was definitely like a boot camp and kind of an initiation, but I feel so remarkably grateful for it. And yeah, it's like she's an incredible character to be able to try to figure out. And that was definitely what the process was me just trying to get my head wrapped around what was going on in hers.
But you had a lot of experience as an actress leading up to this too. It's not like you were a rookie yourself.
No. I mean, yeah, it's so interesting because it's like I had definitely worked, but I think especially when you're younger and when you're going through the process of just developing your craft and your experience, like I'd worked a lot, and also my level of skill and my level of understanding of what it takes to be the kind of actor I want to be, you know, it changes so daily. And so it was like every job feels like this was like I definitely worked, and there were definitely things that were in my body and it was muscle, but like this was the first time that I had had the standard I had had for myself, and the first opportunity I'd had to sort of meet that standard. So yeah, it was all perfect timing though. It happens when it's supposed to happen.
Well, it's great when you're in your early 20s that, I mean, you sense that this is my time to really expand my horizons and
Oh my
move on.
God.
You know,
Yeah.
I think that's to your credit that you took that in and didn't think you
Thanks.
already knew everything going in.
Oh, dude, no, it was funny because it's like, it's also like when I was like 18 or so, I started realizing that I didn't, you know, there's something that I didn't know everything, especially, you know, given what I wanted to do. And so I feel like this kind of role and this kind of work is something I've been putting a lot of effort into learning how to do from a craft standpoint. But it's like once you know those skills, because it is at a completely different skill level, I think, to be able to listen in the way that those actors listen and be able to analyze a script and stuff. Once you know that skill level, it's just a different ballgame trying to do it in a moving set, you know, and not in a studio or an acting studio or like in a self-tape room, you know, it's just different.
And when you're working with veteran colleagues too, Alyssa, I think
Yeah.
they will also, they love being mentored. So I think that it's not like this is a burden for them. You know,
No.
they see you as uh, not a neophyte, but someone who's still learning and evolving. And
Yeah.
I think they love taking you under their wing.
Yeah, that was definitely the feeling. Is it was like I felt really grateful that it was this group of people, because it is so, you know, they've all been doing it for since they were my age. And like, I think Josh said to me the very first day that we ever worked together, he was like, there's nothing that could like everything that could possibly happen to you on a set has happened to me. So like
Yeah.
having that experience and having just somebody be like, yeah, like I know what it's like to be 20 and to be like on a set and like nervous and like trying to do your thing. Like they know every stage of it. And there was such love and such, I felt very seen, which was really valuable and wonderful.
Just to spell it out, you got to work with Amanda Peet and Lizzy
Mhm.
Caplan and Josh, as we said, is Joshua Jackson, who
Yeah.
of course had that run on Dawson's Creek,
Oh yeah.
which was really right in the heart of the zeitgeist when it was on.
I know.
So that was just watching them and emulating them had to be a learning experience.
Yeah, man, it really was. I mean, they're just like, there's just things I think about, and it really is like the specifically how to navigate a set, because I think you can know how to act and you can know how to, you know, do your thing, but knowing how to communicate with your collaborators and knowing how to work with the camera, like all these sort of like, it really is in the just day-to-day moment-to-moment communication and knowing how to express your needs. Like that's something that can only be learned through years of experience. So yeah, and also like they had a level of ease that was really beautiful. Like there was just like it is that feeling of like everything that could happen to me has happened to me. Like I'm just enjoying myself now at this level, which is great and wonderful to be around.
So you sense they weren't nervous at all, and they were fully confident.
Yeah, I mean, like, who knows? I don't like
No actor is fully
like
confident.
no actor's fully confident, right?
No.
Yeah, like it's very possible that they weren't, but it at least was, and I'm feeling this now, like even after this experience, like there is something to be said for like going through something so many times that you're like, well, I'm still here, like you don't have the same like I have to take it so seriously if you've had a consistent career, but I'm sure I could talk to them and they're like, oh my God, I have horrible imposter syndrome and I'm completely faking it. You never know. But at least to me, it seemed as though they got deep joy from it. And that was really cool.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, Alyssa, did you know where the Fatal Attraction story was heading in terms of conclusion from the time you signed on to the project? Because I hear now, I know we still have a few episodes to go that haven't aired yet or streamed yet. I hear your character has a fantastic twist in the last episode.
Yes, I do indeed. I do indeed. Yeah. No, I had no idea. I didn't know until we had like a Zoom like a month before. My whole impression of the character was very different at the beginning than it was like after that Zoom where Alex and Silver basically told me what it was. And I mean, it was great because it made me excited about like, it's a thesis statement for the whole show. Like it's very much drums in the point of what we're trying to get across. So that made me really excited. But yeah, I had a whole other picture of what was going on, and then it just pivoted it completely.
That has to make it fun, though. I mean,
Oh my God, yeah.
it
So
keeps you,
fun.
it has had to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, it really, and it's just like it's a beautiful twist. And it's like it just made me so excited to try to play that character and so excited for the whole storytelling arc in general. It just made me, it was a million times better than anything that I was sort of like uh alluding to, which is the power of her writing, really. Like you're filling in the blanks as you go along, and that's what I had because I only had the first 3 scripts at the beginning. And then once I found this out, I was just like, oh wow, this is going to be a really exciting arc, and there was so much to learn and try to figure out. It was like thrilling.
So look, and once you looked at the script, I imagine that also made you want to be part of the series, just even before you knew where it was going.
Oh yeah, no, I read the pilot. I did a self tape for it, an audition tape, and then I read the pilot, and yeah, it's just good writing. Like it's just flat out, it's good writing and it moves fast. And I thought the character was really interesting. I think regardless, like, the character breakdown said type A, focused, intellectual, like something like that, but like dealing with her father getting out of prison. So I'm like, oh, that's an interesting, I understand that. I understand a very sort of intellectual person having to deal with a very emotional thing. Like that's an interesting pull to me. So yeah, I was sold from the get-go.
Let's talk for a second, Alyssa, about a show you did just before Fatal Attraction, As We See It, on Amazon, which I thought was a terrific show. I was a fan, and
So
and it should not have been canceled after a single season. And what was that like to work with Jason Katims for one, and a group of performers and crew members on the autistic spectrum? I actually happen to have a son who's very high functioning on the spectrum myself.
really?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
and the show really nailed notion of and feeling of what that's like. I think for the people that go through that, and for the people around them.
Yeah, I mean, that's yeah, it's such an amazing show, and that's awesome to hear that you felt like it nailed that. I think so too. I mean, Jason Katims, I've been a fan of for years. Like Parenthood was one of my all-time favorite shows. I think he's a genius. I think he's able to bring forth in actors some of just the most like nuanced, relaxed performances. I feel like his sets are really very improv heavy, which I think, he's known for that. It's very like, the words are the words, like the word, you can, this is yours now. And everything was cross coverage. So it was all very based on connection. And I just, it was the most like loving set I'd ever been on. It was the most comfortable, loving, like truly, it didn't feel like anybody was there for themselves. It felt like it was such a team effort. It felt like there was so much patience and so much grace, which is like not usually a thing that happens on a set. And I think, I mean, the lead 3 performers are fantastic actors, like truly fantastic actors. And I loved working with Albert, who played my brother, who's Harrison was his character. Like, yeah, they're fantastic actors and they're doing fantastic work. And it's also, you know, there's a certain level of sensitivity, obviously. And I think everybody's really on that page and really there to support everybody else. And it just makes it a like beautiful working environment. I felt so lucky to be there. It's amazing.
I don't usually hear the word grace used
Yeah.
to describe a set. So that's
No, neither did I. Neither do I. There's no grace usually. So it was like, it was really just kind of mind blowing, like how people do have the ability to just put their egos aside a little bit and just, you know, be in it for the experience. And it was a family, and everybody says that, but like this really felt like it was.
Why do you think it wasn't renewed?
Couldn't freaking tell you. Like it was so well reviewed. It's like I wish I knew.
Yeah.
I wish I knew what people are thinking. Like I wish I knew how that works and why, you know, things do get renewed and things don't. Like it's also again one of those that's I feel like gonna be and has the potential to be a cult classic, like what Freaks and Geeks was canceled after like 1 season and then it gets revived. Like it's I do feel like when material is so good and when it comes together in a beautiful way, like it'll get seen eventually, but it's very sad it's not renewed. I don't know, wish I knew.
So if everything on your wish list could come true, Alyssa, who would you like to work with next or ever? And what kinds of projects are we talking about? Mainstream TV, indie film? Where would you like to live going forward in your career?
Such a good question. Yeah, I like people ask me this question. I'm always like, I have a sense of it. Like I know, like I want to work with an actor director. Like that's really an experience I want to have, like Bradley Cooper, like somebody who is going to put you through, like you're going to feel like the process is going to be, you're going to have like a deep partner in that process because they understand what it's like. But I feel like I'm kind of open to anything as long as it's good material. I tend to gravitate towards the more like indie projects. I feel like just type wise, and also I feel like wherever my acting style is right now, that's just kind of what I tend to gravitate towards. But God, I would also be like so open to being in some kind of mainstream TV. It's just like wherever the good material and the good people are is hopefully where I get to go.
So probably Spielberg or Scorsese called next week. You'd be
Oh
okay. You'd be
yeah,
open
I
to
would
that.
be open. I would be open. I would be open. If they allowed for that, I would be open. Yeah, I mean, it's really like it's so funny because I feel like even this is like a growth from like last year. Like I know very deeply what I don't want to do. Like I know deeply what I don't want to do. And so that's kind of all you need, I feel like. And then you have a sense of where you do want to go. And I know what I gravitate towards, but I'm like, I'm very open to whatever.
What do you not want? What do you not want to do?
um
You opened to that door. Sorry.
I did. It wasn't you. I did. I think at this point, I don't want to do things that feel the younger demographic stuff. I just feel like I've sort of gravitated out of that. But also it's so like it's such a case by case, like script by script basis. And like it's just become, I think the great thing about Fatal Attraction is all the characters, I got so trained in reading and interpreting scripts that have a lot of depth. And so now you just like, I have like a sort of, I feel like a muscle to go like, there's not going to be a lot here. The way that this is going to serve the story, there's just, they don't want a lot here. So I think it's anything that's going to like, that I could like do in my sleep, I would hate to do, you know, even though like sometimes those are harder. But yeah, anything that lacks depth, anything. I also find that those projects tend to be less fun and the people tend to be less cool. So those.
No, it
Yeah.
totally makes sense too that you'd want to sort of shift out of doing the younger stuff, and you know,
Did it.
more adult roles.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I definitely there's like such a place for that, and it like is what I did as a teenager, and it's not.
You ain't a teenager no more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
21, legal drinking age.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
We're actually out of time.
No
Thank
worries.
you. You can see Alyssa Jirrels in the Paramount Plus reboot of Fatal Attraction.
Ooh.
Alyssa, you're just a delight. Thanks for visiting with us
Aw.
today at Gold Derby.
Thank you. Thank you for great questions. This was fun.